Okay, in this problem, we're working for a satellite TV company, and we're looking at customers who have either switched to cable TV or have not. We're starting with the outcome. That is, we're looking at our customer, those that have left. That's our outcome. They've either left or they've stayed. We'll call that churn, which is just a marketing way of saying they left. And so, if we're starting with the outcomes and working our way back, that's what's called a case control study. The cases will be in this case, the 100 customers who switched, and the controls will be the 100 customers who did not switch. If you look at some other discussions of this, it's almost always done in medical examples. So instead of customers switching, that it might have been somebody that developed cancer or heart disease or died. We start with the outcomes. Some that um, have the outcome, in this case, um, moving to another company or quitting or churning, and then the controls would be those that are still there that don't have that outcome. Okay, continuing on, again, we were looking at our cases, the 100 who churned, and our controls, the 100 who stayed. Now we're going to go back and look at our records, and we find that of the 100 who churned, that 25 of those had contact tech support greater than or equal to 2 times last year. Of those who stayed, only 10 contacted tech support at least 2 times last year. So we found that they have this outcome, and in this case, an outcome we would like for them not to have, churn. We look back at some factor. In this case, we've chosen something to do with technical support. And we've done that both for people that have churned and for another random sample of people who stayed. Again, this is a case control study. And we're going to organize that into a table like this where the technical service 2 times and more is over here. That's our explanatory variable. In medical research, they call that the exposure, our explanatory variable. And then churn is the variable of interest, our outcome, or our response variable, I would call these explanatory and response, or in medical, they call it exploratory and outcome. So anyway, I have the churn, yeses and nos. So um, out of 100 people who churned, I looked back and I saw that 25 of those had sought technical service greater than 2 times, greater than or equal to 2 times last year. And then of those who didn't churn, there were 100 of those. I looked at those, and 10 of those had churned last year. Of course, just by subtraction here, if 25 churned out of this group, 75 didn't, and if 10 churned out of those, um, uh, if 10 were here, then this is, and 100 here, that's got to be 90. So, and this is how you set up the case control study every time. You have on the top the response variable, and then if they had it here, not there, on the on the left side here, our exposure or explanatory variable, it's always that they were exposed, in this case, to that they did have the characteristic of seeking technical support, or they didn't. So a couple of ways you can go about this. And this is one that I'll give just and you can use it, and I usually do, but how to explain. So among those who said yes, we're over here. Among those who yes, did have the um, technical support at least 2 times, the odds were 25 that said yes and 10 that said no. Remember, it's, if you want to look at it this way, success over failure, although if you want to think of what presence of the outcome over not presence of the outcome. And then we'll do the same thing. That's the odds within the people who had the technical service. And then among those who didn't, it's 75 to 90 or 0.83. Take a moment and pause if you have to and make sure that you understand where those numbers came from. And then the odds ratio is just a ratio. The odds for the first group is 2.5 divided by the odds for the third group, which is 0.83, repeating. And that's 3. So that means that the odds for people who did seek uh, get with technical support more than 2 times are 3 times as high as the odds are for those who did not contact technical support. Okay, let me show you another way that you'll sometimes see odds ratio computed. I like the first way because you compute odds and do it based on how it um, on the odds and get the ratio of them. But here's just a shortcut formula. If you label these cells as A, B, C, and D, if you cross multiply, you get the AD on the top. And this way, the BC on the bottom, A times D divided by B times C, 25 times 90 divided by 75 times 10, then you will get the odds ratio that way. That's just a shortcut formula that you might want to use. And then finally on this, let's spend just a moment on interpretation. You can't make first thing is, can we say that we have causation? And the answer is no. This is observational study, and there are lots of other factors that could affect and make someone who would quit, and also someone who would um, seek more technical support. Maybe these are just people that normally complain or that routinely um, seek help and then quit and so on. So we can't really say there's a causation there, but we can say that this is worth noticing or noticeable. It's a potential cause or a potential marker. Might be a better way to think of it in this case. That if we've noticed that someone has gone to technical service a couple of times, then maybe that's a marker that there's someone that has a higher potential of churning. Maybe we ought to do something about that. Maybe we can offer them some coupon uh, or or something that would keep them as our customer. Which is kind of the idea of things here.